Broadcasting live, this is the Handicappers Report, brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live once again for the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino on, once again, an even more perfect day, which I don't think is possible, but there you go. A little breeze in the air the morning after. A terrific performance from Epicenter. He gets his grade 1, moves clearly to the forefront of the 3-year-old Colt division. Malafat bounces back. Jack Christopher continues on. Jackie's Warrior is upset. And who am I missing? Technical analysis. Bet off the board gets the job done. So I couldn't think of the last 1-9 shot that lost in New York. But I don't know if that was the final odds for Jackie's Warrior. He was for much of the wagering, but
15 cents to the dollar.
So not going. So, and I think they had about 49,000.
49,672, the highest attendance since 2019. So a little pandemic bounce back there. 55 million bet, which is a Travers Day record, beat the previous record of 52 million. So a nice little jump up. That's all sources.
Gufo. I forgot Gufo.
Gufo.
Winning back-to-back sword dancers.
That's nice late run.
Let me ask you, Pete. We'll get to Epicenter in a moment, and we'll skip Jackie's Warrior. Other than Jackie's Warrior, most surprising performance yesterday. Good or bad, but probably good on a beautiful day like today.
Well, Gufo, I thought
was surprising. Okay, he was second for me. I thought Malafat bouncing back in that field. Now, I didn't like Latruska at all, and I thought I was home, but I thought search results looked really good at the 8th pole for the day for me. And Malafat just went after her and got her.
Ran really well.
That was a terrific bounce back. And I know
you should know Clairiere kind of dinged in the gate, and she was just never
didn't show up.
Yeah, she acted up in the gate, and I think popped the gate. You know, I didn't check out and see post-race quotes or whatnot, but from what I saw, that made, you know, as I say, popped herself in the gate and just was never in it.
No, never. And I had a 20-year flashback watching the Travers, as I, very much like Cyberknife, who I thought, and if you're really old, you remember Turco Man. He might have been a stone 1-run closer, but he wasn't in his Travers against Chiefs Crown. Daryl Mahar found himself on the lead. Well, Cyberknife, and I give Flojo all the credit, he was looking around for somebody to take the lead. It never happened. I thought he put in a terrific performance, but at the 3/16 pole, I was having a memory flashback of 2001 when my top pick, E. Dubai, was just swallowed up by Point Given. I saw Epicenter and the way he was running at the top of the stretch, and I said, first off, Cyberknife hasn't had things the way he wanted it, first off, and he's doing gallantly. But this is going to be a 2001 flashback where I have no chance in the lane, and Epicenter just dominated. Also, quick note, I think for the record it will show that it was a fast racetrack, as it was for Sea Hero, but the horses came back the same way, and that is, I'm sure you were down in the winner's circle, just caked in mud.
Jockeys.
Their chest and everything, and that's the angle that I say, you know, somebody once called me out on Twitter that Ciro, I always said that his big wins had moisture in the racetrack, his Champagne and Derby. He said, well, his Travers was on a clear, fast racetrack. I said, well, there's one of the examples where if you were there, you knew. It goes to Always Dreaming's Kentucky Derby. The official condition, I think, is fast. It looks sloppy to me. But Epicenter was, man, as goofy as I thought the Jim Dandy was, and early voting, I think, accentuated that. He moved forward, and I don't know,
clearly.
Who was worse, early voting or Clairiere yesterday? They
like I say, Clairiere had I think a legit excuse. I think it's going to turn out, but Epicenter clearly stamps himself at the top of the 3-year-old class at this point. Cyberknife ran well, and Rich Strike fourth at 10-1. I was a little bit surprised at the odds, but I think the fourth place finish was a nice finish for that one. Who I thought that Derby result was fluky, and then that seemed to be validated in the Belmont, but he ran a decent fourth yesterday, but Epicenter was just,
I thought Rich Strike only beat one horse that he wasn't supposed to beat, and that was Early Voting, who I thought was the least good horse on the day.
I think had a little bit of buzz, perhaps. I wasn't buying in, but I think there was a little bit there. So, yeah.
He was probably the 5th best horse yesterday. He ran 4th, right?
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. I thought on Twitter people were praising. I go, he got beat by every horse you thought was going to beat him, except Early Voting, who was not good, let's say. So I was like, who did he beat while running 4th? But, a day that we'll remember for Everson. Oh, another thing. I kept it here. So in the first race, that baby race we talk about. So Steve Asmus's runner was the 9-5 morning line favorite loaded for Bear. No one was buying into it. So word must have been out on verifying that David Aragona didn't get. Because they bet that horse down to 3-5 and whistled.
It was a sibling to Midnight Bijou. So how does that not attract?
What was on the morning line?
The morning line was 9-5, but
for King's Glory.
Yeah.
At 5-2 on verified. What I'm saying is, whomever they knew by the morning that it wasn't like that. And also, as I had said, and I thought you kind of agreed, it looked on paper. What would he say? There was like $3 million worth of preach.
Yeah.
That there was like 4 or 5 live. No, there wasn't. There was 1 live. Like that barn knew they had the killer and verifying one easily. So it's hard to ask for anything more out of racing. Like you say, Gufo, inside the 8th pole, look, just sprouted wings.
Yeah.
And just was like, get out of my way.
That was some late run. There's no question about it there.
Boy, I thought at the top of the stretch, Triuven was in good shape. That good shape ended in about 5 strides.
Yeah, they
went from like 3 in front to like beat it.
I was a little bit surprised the Broom took so much action, became the favorite. I guess just the European angle. But and it was funny. I tweeted out. I was sitting up in the press box before the 7th race, I want to say it was, and I looked out, and there was a group of people going out onto the turf course, and one of them was wearing a sport coat, but clearly jockey's pants. So up in the press box,
William Buick?
I was far enough
Ryan
away.
Moore.
Yeah, and I tweeted out, I'm assuming that's got to be Ryan Moore. And there was 5 people, and subsequently other people tweeted out, and even as far away as I was, once they tweeted, I recognized it was Terry Meeks from the Jockeys Guild was with them, and there was 3 other people, and they walked up the stretch from, and about the turn, 3 of the people decided we've had enough, and they came back. But Ryan Moore and Terry Meeks went all the way around the turf course to take a look at the turf course. Again, a couple hours before the
Just to show you the outsiders, Speaker's Corner went out to the Pat O'Brien yesterday, the even money favorite, off the board. And the fact that yours truly had the $15 winner of the Pat O'Brien. I think I have to go home and sharpen this pencil, but I think we have beaten the meat at Del Mar, and I have free swings Saturday. But, so I think a lot of times we get caught in that, whether it's the California strippers coming in, the Euros, they must be really good. We'll take them. And Speaker's Corner, who I think has been going like this since the Carter. Now, I know he ran against the 2 beasts, but I'm like, I don't like him in here. I don't think I did not have him on the board yesterday, and they made him the even money favorite against good sprinters, So I think that happens a lot. The one you don't know comes in, you're like, oh. And Aiden O'Brien continues not mastering Saratoga.
Yeah.
I'm sure the day will come when he does.
Yeah.
But it wasn't yesterday. So you had a good time. Long day.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Betting-wise, the last
weather
race
was wonderful.
Pulled me out. I needed that. And a lot of people I talked to were kind of struggling, I think, a little bit during the day. But for me, the last race was very beneficial, triple and whatnot. And
I know she had a big edge, but I have to say, of all the wagering yesterday, technical analysis, like getting
that
bet
price
off
that
the
price
board was
the
like.
The entire time I looked at it, I thought
I was like,
I like her.
I think she's the best.
I agree.
She's got the pace edge, but
that was. I was thinking the same thing when I looked up the board. That was a crazy price.
And
Crazy
she won,
price.
so my sisters would be looking at me and go, well, what do you mean? I go, no, you don't understand. I mean, the difference between 3 to 5 and 1 to 5 is the Grand Canyon. And but she she did it, and great day of racing, which is what we hope for. The weather was perfect for the humans. As we said, the horses came back dirty as all heck. Epicenter late in the day, but you know, and we ran some turf races, not on a firm turf course, which has been the anomaly at this meet. Very few run on a good turf, and I think to date none run on a yielding turf, and obviously none on a, well, you shouldn't say obviously, but it's either been firm or about 10 now on a good racetrack. Any other thoughts?
Nothing jumps off the page. A little bit later on, Loose on the Lead should be fun. Ron Winchell from Winchell Thoroughbreds will join us. Obviously talking a little bit about the Travers and more. And we'll have Sean Clancy as well.
Does he
Steve
bring
Vick, of course,
donuts?
Jumping in. I don't know if we have donuts or not. But we're looking forward to the visit a little bit later on. Top of the hour for Loose on the Lead.
Now, that's a great get. So did you have them lined up, or you were able to get them? You won? Can you come on? He said yes.
Steve was running around in the winner's circle yesterday. And
That's
made the
outstanding.
connection.
Great job by Steve. That's a lot of work. You get them right back. It's very, very good. I think it's time for the DePaula play of the day if we're not doing it at the top of the hour.
Oh, no, it is at the top of the hour.
Oh,
It's on-
okay.
It's on Loose on the Lead.
Yeah, that's
today.
why I come here at 8:05 for pre-production. Well, I wasn't here early enough for pre-production? All right. I guess it's just us then. 7 days of racing left. Remember, next week is the old style 6 days of racing because we're going to run on Labor Day. But this wraps up week number 7, and I have always loved this day of racing. I've always loved the last week of racing. Enjoy it because it is as good as it gets, and yesterday was a great day for the sport. We will kick it off today, a 10-race card, open company, 2-year-old fillies, a mile and 16th on the inner gets us underway.
I'll go 7, 4, 6, and 9. The one Justifiable Bell, I think, can be playable as well with Todd Pletcher and Justify on top at 8 to 1. Boy, I looked at it closely, but I went with the Chad Brown runner, Akela. This horse is interesting. By Kingman, purchased at a 2-year-old sale, worked 10.0. I don't know how much weight to give to that, debuting on the turf, going 2 turns, but I do note it. But I looked up the Kingman stats in the United States for first-time starters this year. Excuse me. He has 7 first-time starters, 2 wins, a second, and a third here in the United States. But interestingly enough, the 2 wins,
Here.
they were Chad Brown runners at a mile and 16th on the turf.
Yeah. Well,
So-
the one was the one that beat Indemnify, the first-time starter,
So again,
who couldn't run straight and
we-
still took them down.
we get Chad Brown 2 turns on the turf. So I'll land here and 4 to 1. Irod Ortiz on board. Second slot, Wand goes out for the aforementioned Todd Pletcher. Attracted a good price at sale. The Sire, Good Magic. 27 first-time starters this year. 6 wins, 4 seconds, 3 thirds. So pretty solid numbers there from the Sire. And again, I went back and forth with these Pletcher runners, who I think have a little bit of win early breeding.
I have the other one.
One's 10 to 1, one's 8 to 1. They're both very intriguing. Clever Joke in the third spot for me. It's a Chad Brown firster by Practical Joke. So a little of the old nature and nurture at work for me. Mademoiselle Jackie from Christophe Clement, I think,
Absolutely.
can be intriguing as well. This is, again, another fun 2-year-old race up here at Saratoga. But I'll go 7, 4, 6, and 9.
11 is an AE, 12 and 13 are MTOs, as are the 14. So in the 10 in the main body that I looked at, Seth, I have to tell you that the only horse, and it would be casually, I would toss, would be the 5 for Ken McPeak. Moshiro would be the only one. And I have See the Stars on the bottom side, so that's stupid. So debuted going the scheduled 7 early in the meet that we talked about being earlier on the calendar, now gets 2 turns. So if you look at that first race as practice, and now you get the See the Stars on the bottom side, and Uncle Mo has shown himself to be versatile enough. So to me, of the 10 in the main body, they're all in.
You just talked yourself into 5 being a possibility, too.
Well, I did, because I was stupid. I made a bad call. And also looking at the 8, La Vida Sofia. Now, Rudy's 2 for 72, which is bad. That might be the horse I throw out. And then you look, 59 and 3, breezing for the debut. Good luck, folks. So when it comes down to that I'm all about the price. I like the 2 on debut, but I like the 1-3-7 for me. I'm inside. It's a wide open race. Remember, the rails are at 9 feet on the inner. And I just, Justify was a Triple Crown winner who was the son of Scat Daddy, who had a very brief career. If I remember correctly, early Scat Daddy was doing turf runners right away. So I'm all on board. And then what the heck? I have Giants Causeway on the bottom side. Candle, my second pick, second career start. I like the debut. And for third, Akela, as you said, from Kingman, 1-3-7 in a fantastic opener. Good luck to the pick 5 players.
Yeah, we didn't mention...
I hope the board gives you a lot of insight.
We didn't mention the 2 going out for the Red Hot Phil Bauer, who ran second in debut, one of his few that didn't win.
I think we can move Phil up to white hot now.
Oh, man.
Because it's
I said
been
when I
great.
had him on the show, I had to cover this chair in asbestos, as he said.
Yeah, as he left. Good line.
All right, the second at Saratoga, starter allowance at the 50,000 level, 9 furlongs will be the trip.
Good luck in the early daily double, because there's 10 in the main body and 6 here. The only horse I'd be throwing out would be a Todd Pletcher first time versus winner's horse in the two legs. So good luck in the daily double. I am 3-4-1, which I'm surprised my partner is in the same ballpark, because I thought everybody was live but the 2. But we both agree on Orlando Noto, who has had a quiet meet. I thought I was going to be on the Orlando Noto train, but he has, with about 50 fewer runners, he's having a tough meet, as is Rudy. Javier Castellano, where was Javier yesterday? Where did they have the big race? I saw Javier was out of town yesterday. This is second off the claim for $40,000 for second number 4. Bold Victory, Linda Rice's runner. Been very steady of late at this level. And for third, the morning line favorite, number 1, Endowed for Christophe Clement. 3-4-1.
3, 1, 4, and 5 for me, so I'm kind of in the same position. Cryo on top. Claimed the horse early in the meet off a second place finish. Then bounced up to this level last time and ran a good second. So I think this horse is in very good form right now. Again, in a competitive race, but off of that good form, Castellano jumps on board. Endowed, a little more lightly raced, and maybe there's still some upside potential. A couple of tries at this level, most recently up here, ran maybe a little bit of a dull 4th after a good second trying this company down at Belmont, 2 back. I'm going to look for a rebound with a trip over the track last time. And then in the third spot, Bold Victory. Nice third place finish behind the top pick last time. I think bodes well also for this afternoon. In the second at Saratoga, 3, 1, 4, and 5.
And just a quick note, Javier was at Charlestown Friday night, and he was at Monmouth yesterday. They run the sapling around 2 turns now. He got the W with Lost Ark, so that's where it was. I knew I was not losing my mind that he was out of town. On to the third. We'll stay Fillies and Mares. Starter allowance, I should say, going 5.5 on the turf. This is on the Mellon, the outer turf, which has had the rails down. You saw technical analysis recognizing that might be the better part of the going, even with the rain.
3, the 1 entry, 6 and 2. Abuse of Power just looks to have an edge on this bunch, particularly off the last race up here. But was claimed out of that, moves into a new barn. Horacio De Paz, okay, with that angle, however, and the horse has worked decently since the last race. So I'll stick with him, despite a move into maybe a little saltier company. I just think he's in good form. She's in good form right now. The entry, Misspelled Moon and Stuck on Kitten. We had Rich Cristiano from Adelphi in the other day. Misspelled Moon with 3 O's, cleverly named, in here off a good try last time. And again, I just think it's a horse that's in some good form. I think on a best effort, Stuck on Kitten can be a player in here as well. Between the 2, I'd probably slightly prefer Misspelled Moon. And again, in the current form with a couple of seconds bookending a win, a maiden breaker, that means that last time got that experience that sometimes a horse needs moving out of the maiden company, moving any condition up. So did get that experience last time. Misspelled Moon looks legit. And then our friends at Eddie F's have Jasmine-esque in here. I'm going to look for this one to run well this afternoon. Cuts back. A cut back on the turf isn't quite as enticing, maybe as on the dirt, but I do think this one is interesting in here and a one to consider. And Jose Ortiz jumping on board to replace the apprentice from last time, who is riding very well, but Jose Ortiz jumping on board was a little bit of a bonus for me as well. So I have a 3-1 and 1 entry, 6 and 2.
And just so my English teachers of past are proud of me, both words are misspelled. I thought that was the cute part of misspelled moon that they went with, both of them. I think the race does go through Seth's top pick, Abuse of Power, and I was looking to make an end run, 7-3-1 for me, and Bustin' Bullet on the outside for Irad Ortiz, coming off of a off-the-board finish, beating 1 length for all the money at the entry-level New York bred. Now takes on Starter Allowance, where they had run 2 races back. I'm on the outside. I have good early tactical speed. For second, number 2, Abuse of Power. First off the claim, scored the victory. You know, I've talked about this many times. You know, after the fact, I'd love to talk to trainers like, you lost the 2L condition in the race you claimed from, so now you're in this level after trying harder before. Be interesting to see the performance today in the Starter Allowance, which I think are appreciably tougher than the 2Ls. And for third, part of the entry, scheduled to break for the number 2 post position. Both words misspelled. Misspelled Moon, 7-3-1 in the third. And before we go to break, Seth, I would say if people were buying you gifts of shirts, I would say that is not a Seth Merrow shirt you're wearing today.
It is a Seth Merrow shirt.
That is way out there for you.
Normally I wouldn't wear one of these in a situation like this, but just bouncing around. I wear stuff like this all the time.
Okay, I've never seen you on television really
usually
step out. And I wish you had called on this occasion, because it was not the day for you to step out into your checks and patterns and everything.
Usually it's a solid,
very
shirt.
solid background.
Occasionally I'll throw one
and
out.
Apparently, Day After Travers is one of those occasions.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report on the day after, Sunday, after the Travers, after a really, really good Travers day with plenty of really good stakes action, and there will be conversation about it, I'm sure, all week long and moving forward, because this will play into Eclipse Awards as well.
And we'll see how many
day.
people jump off from yesterday, and their next stop is Keeneland on the first weekend in November.
That will be.
I mean, it's just sadly become a game plan for a lot of runners. You think?
Well,
one
I
quick
also
thing. You think Latruska's moving forward?
I don't know.
It's a lot of dances
the day after. But it will be also interesting because it is Keeneland. will people shoot for a stake at Keeneland before the
That
Breeders'
first
Cup?
weekend in October.
So we'll see. But first commercial break coming out of it means our Dark Horse Play of the Day. Dark Horse Play of the Day brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway in downtown Saratoga Springs. Always tout swinging by to make a visit. You will enjoy it, believe me, and then go to their store down the street, Impressions of Saratoga, the Saratoga stores. You will enjoy it. Our Dark Horse yesterday, unfortunately, got scratched. It was at that turf race, the second race, and I debated whether I should change up the Dark Horse as I came on TV. I thought the horse might stay in, though. But that one scratched, so we turned the page and moved to another day. And I will say, once again, I've had a few of these during the meet. There was nothing super clever today at a price that I wanted to jump on board. That first race had a couple of opportunities, but I just thought that one's so wide open, I wasn't sure. So again, I'm not getting the Dark Horse type of price here. But again, it was just that kind of a day. I have the 9 horse in the 6th race. Love Job. Have it on top. And we're getting 7-2. And so we'll keep our fingers crossed we get that. That's a double-digit payout if the price holds up, near double-digit payoff if the price holds out. But it's by Violence. If you're watching enough, you know I like Violence as a sire of first-time starters. It's Todd Pletcher, Violence. Violence so far this year, 52 first-time starters. These numbers are crazy. 13 winners, 9 seconds, and 4 thirds. So 22 exacta finishes from 52 first-time starters so far this year. First sibling to race, but the dam herself won her first 2. She's a sibling to the very nice Talk Vouv to me. So I thought there was some really nice breeding here for the Mike Rapoli Company runner. Irod Ortiz jumps on board. The workouts look pretty good. The win early breeding. Again, it's not that knockout Dark Horse price we want, but we're already in the black with our Dark Horse plays for the meet. So hopefully this just adds to that a little bit. I would have liked to have found something a little more clever. I just didn't see anything on the card today that pulled me in that direction. And so at the 7-2 price, we'll take a little shot. Race number 6, number 9, Love to Shop. The Dark Horse Play of the Day brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga Springs. 4th race today at Saratoga. Maiden Specials vying for $105,000. 3-year-olds and up, going 9 furlongs.
Did you see the opening day card at Kentucky Downs?
No.
I
can only imagine.
I think they average 16.5 entries per races.
Yeah.
There's 10 races, over 160 horses have entered. I didn't even look over what the purse size is. 5-2-1. Sidekick is my top pick. I think Suge has had a great meet. It's hard when you see like the win percentage is 3 for 30. But watching how his horses have run, Shug, I'm thinking 2 of his 3 winners are first-time starters. I'm just saying that I think he's having I should say terrific meet. Great was too strong. I think he's having a terrific meet with his runners, and this horse making the 4th career start, comes back at a mile and an 8th, 1 lap around. Johnny V gets the mount. He rode this horse in the debut. He'll ride the horse in the 4th career start. For second, number 2, Gasoline, 2-1 down inside for Todd Pletcher. And Offspring of Curlin. And one thing I'm going to say that, Seth, I think you had a guest, I want to say either Ellis Starr or Bob Ehol on your show during the different time of year. And they brought something to the audience attention, which I was dialed into, the effect of Curlin at these 1 1/8, 1 1/4. He was talking about stakes races in America where Curlin has this preposterous percentage of winners on classical dirt routes. And I have followed ever since, and it holds up. Abundant Honor is my 3rd choice. John Kimmel's runner makes the first start since the first week of January. 5-2-1.
5-2-6-1 for me. I thought the 3 was also a little bit interesting, given what we saw in the career debut. At 8-1, I wouldn't ignore that if I was playing around. But I went also a sidekick on top. It just seems like over the last couple of races and the stretch out to this trip last time bode well for this afternoon. Could be primed in career start number 4. Gasoline goes out for Todd Pletcher. Probably the one to beat. The race 2 back, I think, was good enough to take this. And last time regressed a little bit. But I think that progression we saw through the first 3 was maybe more what we can expect Still a little bit of a question mark at the 2 turns, obviously. So I debated putting that one on top. I went back and forth, but I went 5 over the 2, and then Bold Looker in the 3rd spot. Nice progression in numbers for the Brian Lynch trainee, who could also be primed in the 3rd start back off of improved numbers over the first 3 starts. Could be primed to run very well this afternoon. In the 4th, 5, 2, 6, and 1.
On the 5th, entry-level allowance going a mile on the turf.
I have a 4, 6, 9, and 2. Number 4 is Microphone, going out for Chad Brown and Peter Brandt. 4 starts so far this year, but hasn't been seen since mid-June. But 4 pretty good-looking starts. There was a 5th place finish in there at Aqueduct in April, but the number was still very competitive with what we're looking for this bunch. So again, lightly raced, comes back off a little bit of a layoff, may come back with an improved effort given the scenario we've seen so far with, again, only the 4 races under the belt, and having shown some flashes already of a little bit of talent. 2nd spot, I will go with Irwin. I thought the last race was pretty good. Came up from Belmont and put in a pretty good try to fire a buyer that's going to match up nicely with this group. Showed a little bit of early speed before fading a little bit late, but I think that scenario bodes well for this afternoon, and a good try, maybe on or, again, very near the lead. We shall see. And then Shoddy in the 3rd spot. Nice closing effort last time on the move up to Saratoga. Castellano was on board that day. Flavian Prat jumps on board today. But again, given what we saw last time, in an improved effort, tying the lifetime best buyer figure, I could see this one being heard from in the lane yet again. I have 4, 6, 9, and 2.
Good luck kicking off the pick 6 here. I mean, these are great races, and for trifecta players, I think we look at it demonstrably differently than the horizontals, and I feel benefited in this type of race. And 4, 2, 6 for me, but there's a couple other horses. I have about 5 live horses in this race. But Microphone, to me, Chad Brown, been the chalk in every career start, I suspect, will be again every 2 months for this horse, just about. Of late, that's fine. This, Chad Brown and the layoffs, they only seem to help. You're almost like they really are so sharp and ready to go on return to the races. And number 2, Devil's Outlaw, Chad Brown's other runner. They take blinkers off. And this is where I kind of find it intriguing, because it looks like they tried it in one start and then took them off. So they, it really looks like truly an experiment, and it didn't work. You go back to where you had more success. Maybe it sharpened up the speed a little bit. We'll see. Then I have Irwin also, who I think could be heck to pay at 6-1 in this race. 4, 2, 6.
Race number 6 on Sunday afternoon. Again, $105,000 for the maidens. These are 2-year-old fillies going 3/4 of a mile.
And the 11 is and also eligible. That's the barn that was out in California, had Unique Bella and others. They seem to have Don Alberto Stables come east, and Todd Pletcher has Alpha Bella on the outside for the homebred. 395. Soul Dad. We had Girl Dad the other day, right?
Right.
So now we have Soul Dad. Bill Mott's first and offspring of Ghost Zapper. Some sharp workouts, including 2 back from the gate, breezing a minute. 6-1 on the morning line. Junior Alvarado gets the mount. This is just pure guesswork. I think this horse is going to get bet into this race. Number 9, Love to Shop. Todd Pletcher's runner. Irad Ortiz sends out on debut. And I say the Jockey Club, and people make fun of the names that have gotten through, and that's fine. But I never liked the fact that they let Violence get through as a name. I wouldn't have gone that direction. I mean, I know it's for different words than they usually reject names for. I would have said we're not going for that. And number 5, Lovin' on the Run, first-time starter for Run Happy. And Epicenter ran happy yesterday in the Run Happy Travers Stakes. 395 for me.
I have a 9, 4, 8, and 3. As I mentioned earlier, my dark horse play today, Love to Shop. I have that one on top. Violence, a very good sire, precocious runners. The Dam, brand new with the first runner here, but she herself was precocious. So we'll hope that all that precocity moves on to this one. High class, Bite into Mischief. Didn't quite live up to that in debut, but I think we know Steve Asmussen runners can often improve nicely, and was behind the very talented runner, you would have to think, what we've seen so far in Prank. That one, unfortunately, on the sidelines for a little bit, but we'll see what this one can do coming out of that race. I won't be surprised with a much improved effort. I'm a Country Girl in the third spot for Chad Brown, more than ready on top. Again, won't be surprised if this one comes out running also. For me, 9, 4, 8, and 3.
Echo again also, right?
Echo again.
Has he been the most buzz of a 2-year-old colt?
Oh,
at the meet?
yeah,
I think
probably.
He's had the most,
Yeah.
maybe nationally even.
Yeah,
Take a quick break.
We'll talk about him in a few with Ron Winchell.
And rightfully so. When we come back, the pick 4.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley, and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s, and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're up to race number 7, kicking off the late pick 4 on this 10-race card. Fillies and Mares in for 35. Non-winners of 3 lifetime, dashing 5.5 on the turf.
2, 3, 9, and 1 for me. I put Freedom of the Press on top. Luis Saez on board. Came up here to Saratoga last time. I thought ran an okay 4th. Was beaten favorite that day. I'm going to give him one more chance, and I think it's a bonus also that we're getting a little class relief. This horse was claimed, 5 starts back out of a conditional claimer. Since then, has been in starter allowance company. And again, has been running okay, including that last race. But I think maybe returns to the comfort zone class-wise today. So I'll use Freedom of the Press on top. Trained to Artemis in the second spot. Fairly lightly raced for Safi Joseph and Ken Ramsey. Came up here to Saratoga and has a couple of starts that continued an improving cycle of performances since the first start of the season back in June down at Churchill. I wouldn't be surprised to perhaps see this horse move up the 1 condition to the N3L and do very well again this afternoon for this team. And then Weekend Fun in the 3rd spot. That's the blinkers today. A little bit interesting. Jamie Begg, the former assistant to Mark Cassie, had this one put in a pretty good effort last time under Dylan Davis. And I had Dylan on a few weeks ago. I had Jackie Davis on yesterday. If you didn't see that, she was a lot of fun yesterday and worth checking out on the replay. But nice little 4th place finish for this one under Dylan last time. Blinkers added today. I think the horse could be a player at a little bit of a price. We're looking at 10 to 1 in the morning line. I think you'll get some value. 2, 3, 9, and 1.
6, 2, 3 for me. Summer at the Spa. Michelle Nevins, runner, comes off of 2 back, a nice effort at Belmont Park, going 7/8 to the loss to Theodore Grace, who came up tier and won. And then more recently, a 5.5 furlong dash with some issues. Comes back today with Johnny V. For second, Freedom of the Press. James Farrell sends out this runner with good early speed. I think we'll be hitting early. And for third, Trained to Artemis, who scored for the good guys in the most recent effort, which appears as if, well, I think it's mathematically a certainty, will get us to week 8 with our head above water and swinging
right.
for the last week. We will see.
That's all right.
No, it's better than the other.
I will admit, and there's almost always one week up here where and this was kind of the week where I was treading water.
I think you're right. Mine
wasn't
was
awful. I just felt
mine
like
was
this
the
week.
first full week.
Yeah.
Week 2 with the 5 days was the one where somebody asked me. I said to them, they hit back this week.
Yeah, no, it's
but
just it
is-
seems like there is always one in
Keep
there.
it going for 8
so
weeks.
Far,
That's
this
a
was mine.
different-
8th race today, a better talk now. This is a restricted stake, $135,000 up for grabs. They're scheduled for a mile on the grass.
Boy, I must have missed something because Wit is everywhere on people. Now, Mike Rapoli tipped out the horse with you on the show. He said that Wit had gotten to the turf for the turf debut in the Hall of Fame, and he was very, very excited. People bet Wit first time turf 7-2 and ran second. I mean, it was a solid effort. I think it's fair to say that the turf workouts that Mike Rapoli was referring to played out in the afternoon, and I think he's a mix in here. I said, but I'm like, boy, I'm 7, 8, 9. I mean, Wit to me is in the mix, but I thought Napoleonic War, shortening up to the mile, where this horse won on debut for Chad Brown down at Tampa, and I'm not worried about the 55 Buyers speed figure. We've bettered that by a lot recently, and shortening up the Belmont Derby maybe now at this, you would think a Warfront would like a mile more than a mile and a quarter. Well, we're shortening up. Flavian and Prat passed them out. Riot House right next door in the starting gate. I took 2 flyers underneath. First time Stakes tries to make it 3 in a row, and then number 9 for George Weaver, I thought was okay. In the Monmouth Park Tail of the Cat, shortened up to a mile at the wrong time to be a mile, to be wide and wide. That was a bad time for that. So I took 7, 8, 9, and I thought Wit was part of it, but I'm not going to say the race goes through Wit. Maybe you would.
No, I have the horse on top, but I would not say the race
Right,
goes
yeah,
through. I was between mine and yours.
Okay. All right.
But I kind of went more with Wit on the race last time, which I thought was pretty good. It
Yes.
was at a mile, as compared to Napoleonic War, who went the mile and a quarter
Yes.
last time. I always wonder, when they stretch out like that, is the cutback, will they be quite as potent?
Has there been enough time?
It is, and it is Chad Brown, too. So, again, I could have gone either way with those top 2, but I did think Wit looked pretty good last time. There was a snappy mile, 133 and 4, and was right there closing to be a good second. So I'm going to stick with Wit on top, Napoleonic War in the second spot. Legends Can't Die, going out for George Weaver and Dean Reed. We don't focus on the owners as much as we look at trainers and jockeys during the meet, but Dean Reeves has had a really, really nice meet. And this one being lightly raced, and part of that good meet with a win in the last, in a much improved effort on the front end. So lightly raced, kind of broke through last time at this mile trip right here at Saratoga. I think this one might be a little bit interesting in here today, despite, kind of moving into stakes. But it is restricted stakes company, but it's a salty field. I think Legends Can't Die probably fits. I have it 4, 7, 1, and 8.
All right. This, I love the ballerina. It's the 9th race today. It's a grade 1. Fillies and mares going 7, 8. And by my calculations, Seth, I have probably handicapped approximately 35,000 races for capital. 1% would be the top 350. This is in probably the top 0.3 of 1% of the most difficult races I have ever had to make a call on. I looked at this. It happens once in a while for me. I just had to walk away from the race. It's like a crossword puzzle. I just walked away from it. And when I came back to it, I just was like, the rules are, as a public handicapper, you have to decide. Danny's waiting for me at Capitol. And I'm like, I got to decide. And when I tell our folks, when it comes down to that, well, I'll talk about my top pick after Seth. Now, before you get into it, did you find it that much of a skull buster?
No, it was a tough race, but it wouldn't rank as one of the toughest races I've ever looked at.
And I will say this. I love CC because one of the things people make fun about me picking against favorites and trying to bet Gamine, Well, I had a one-way exacta, well, a box. I was Edgeway and CC, so all those times that Gamine stuck it to me, at the end, it was $100 exacta that paid for the whole Del Mar vacation last year. It took me a while, but I got her. So it was easier for you. Well, let it roll.
I have a 5-1-7-4, and again, I'm not saying it was an easy race to look at.
Wow, we agree on two of the horses.
Wasn't one of the most difficult I looked at because I just drew a line through the last race from Bella Sophia, and I went back to the test last year, and I think if that works out, and the latest workout says she may be back on her toes, I think Bella Sophia is really good and has shown an affinity for this course with the win in the test. So, again, I'm kind of not buying into what we saw last time. We'll see. But I'm going to put Bella Sophia on top, CC in the second spot. CC last year, a very nice winner of the Princess Rooney, and then came up here and ran third in the Ballerina behind the aforementioned Gamine. We'll see what happens this year. She was out in Del Mar as recently as August 20th as far as workouts, so did have to travel a little bit, obviously. Nice performance in the Princess Rooney, though, on that Summit of Speed Day. So, like last year, she comes in, and her effort this year, Beyer figure-wise, was improved over what she had last year. So, I'm taking a little bit of a modest swing against. I have her right underneath, but she is very, very good, obviously. Good Night Olive in the third spot, Chad Brown trainee. You don't
see that past performance line too often,
and I think that is going to cause this horse to get a little bit overlooked. And if so, Good Night Olive could be interesting in here. So I put that one down in the third spot. I have it 5-1-7-4.
Still no teletimer. Still no time for that race.
Which is amazing to me
in
that they don't fire up the video and somebody.
Oh no! Don't ask for too much. But in the modern era, that their August 7th 3X race. I'll put it this way. Now, you were the one that told me that you thought obligatory was not just a Churchill Downs horse, had evolved from 3 to 4, and I should look out for her.
I really like obligatory.
I know you do.
Here I couldn't pull the trigger.
And you can put it up. I'm 3-7-1 because I thought the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, or the 7 could win easily. So I had to take the 8-1 shot. Just how it works for me. My horse has to run 4 or 5 lengths faster. I understand that. Do I think it's going to happen for Bill Mott? I don't know. But I can't take the other 5. At the end, I was probably going to have to take either Lady Rocket or Caramel Swirl. I wasn't taking obligatory because Good Night Olive. I mean, it's just so tough. But Caramel Swirl, to me, I hope this is the day. It has to run a career best to win. That's what I'm banking on. Second start of the year. That's it, folks. I don't have much. Good Night Olive. You do not see this type of record box, maiden special weight, 1X, 2X, 3X, allowance company, wins by open daylight, is odds on. And then CC, who I love dearly, because I love San Diego, and it was free thanks to CC and Edgeway. You know what's even better about that? That's like kicked off the day. Like, I didn't have to wait to the classic. It was right away going, down in the paddock with our colleagues and friends. But 3-7-1 Ballerina. I think it was 18 consecutive years a losing favorite. 16 or 17 consecutive. I know Cadillacing won as the choice in 88, and I think it was Lady Tack in 07 was the next winning favorite. So I always like that. But 3-7-1 in a terrific horse race. If it had ever been on the card yesterday, it'd have knocked me out. I couldn't have gotten through it. The Ballerina. I'm glad you found it easier. We'll be right back with the finale.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. We will look at the finale today, which again is the 10th race typically has been doing. Goes off at about 6:13 this evening. The 10th race today, maiden specials going 5.5.
And Naira's been better than NASA with that 6:13. Like, that's it.
Well, we are the one day, though, that was 6:09. It's like the whole meet has been 6:13, and like 4 or 5 days ago, it was 6:09.
We have had some post-time drag, though.
Well, in the 21st century, it's not just here, it's everywhere.
We can't keep time of the races, but we can keep time. 4-12-6 wrapping it up for me. Steady on. First-time starter for Todd Pletcher. Offspring of Pioneer of the Nile, Luis Saez, Mike Rapoli. Loved the last workout. For second, number 12, Java Buzz, who is the outside of the main body. Tough post for Linda Rice, coming off a beaten favorite, finishing second under Flavian Prat. Third start of the year, and for third, super quality. First off, the $40,000 claim, and that's one of those ones where Rob Atchis had to be sitting there going, don't win, I might need that condition. 4-12-6.
4-2-12-9 for me. I also put Steady on top. Now I have to wonder if we'll see that 5-1. But they paid over $250,000.
We're not in the wise guy group, so.
Yeah, they paid over $250,000. Has a little bit of breeding. Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez jumps on board, as you said. The last workout kind of signals all systems should be go. Rockets Red Glare in the second spot off a debut that I thought was okay. I thought that was a good foundation to move forward from. Had a little trouble in there to boot. Irod Ortiz sticks on board. That said a little something also. And then Java Buzz in the third spot. Leaves from the outside post position, potentially, depending on scratches. But, boy, this horse in the last couple of races, which are the two races for 2022, I thought they've been very promising, and this one may wind up being the one to beat in here. In the 10th and final at Saratoga, 4-2-12-9.
And if you're lounging around today, as we are nearing the end of August and stuff, this might be a great day to come to the races because the weather seems, it was one of those days driving up, Seth, it was in the early low 60s for degrees. It seems as if this has not been one of the shows that it's gotten warmer, and warmer. So, and these next 7 days of racing, I find can be very enjoyable. Of course, I find most days at the track very enjoyable, but it's very nice up here.
3 more pops at the low rollers. Don't forget that. Low rollers.
What, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday?
Sundays and Thursdays. So you go over by the 4-Star Day Bar down the old
You didn't peak early, did you?
It does seem that way. Although a couple weeks ago I was live late. But you spend $40. They give you a betting card worth $30. $10 goes into the prize pool. You make 5 $2 win place and show bets during the day and see where you wind up on the leaderboard. If you're up near the top, you get part of that prize pool, or maybe you get the top part of that prize pool, which makes for a pretty good and a fun day. And again, if you're not a contest player, we have them at OTB with the horse tourneys part of the website, and this is a great way to kind of introduce yourself to it. Everybody I've talked to, and I see people during the day all the time who say, oh, I jumped in because you mentioned it, and everybody has a lot of fun with the low rollers. So take a shot. Again, today, Thursday, next Sunday, last 3 shots at the low rollers. Should be fun.
I'm not a horizontal player in really any sense, but live late has to be one of the best thoughts in horse racing.
No question about it.
To be alive late
in
anything.
You're through your first 3 or your first 4, and you look up the leaderboard, and in
You're
that
there.
top 10,
You got a shot.
yeah, you're feeling pretty good.
All right, he stays, I go. Before Luce and Lee, we'll have John De Silva's thoughts at Del Mar.
The doc.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital